And the young man of the family is moving with authority, building castles by the sea. He dares the tidy tide to wash them all aside. Thick as a brick. I don't like to say it really, but hey, that's what you are if you're denying the objective reality. Just have a look. Don't take my word for anything, of course. Don't take anybody's word for anything. That's the whole point of this. Apply your given senses. You are an incredible machine. What you are is the most extraordinary thing that other people have ever met. But we're all the same. We're all that extraordinary being. We all have the ability to suss out that, okay, so yeah, right. You've never heard of anything. You don't know where you are. You're born into this world, and you're released when you are 18, shall we say, into the outside world. Now, you could observe things for a week, a month, a year. You would never think that you were on a spinning ball with a circumference of 25,000 miles. You would never think that. Unless you got a stake in it. No. And measure the shadow. No, that's just bullshit. To think somebody did that thousands of years ago, let's say it was 2,000 odd years ago, before BC anyway, which is, you can't trust history, of course. But BC, and they knew that we were living on a spinning ball. What bullshit. No way. And in those days, we are led to believe it was a geocentric place where we were. So everything went round us, including the sun and the moon and everything, which actually they do, but they don't go round us, they just go above us. But that was the thinking, so we're led to understand, but I don't think that. I don't think history is real, but anyway, this is what they tell us. So this thing that was I think he said 3 million miles or something, he'd sussed it out as away from us, the sun, I mean. So the thing that was 3 million miles away was going, he must have been going at a tremendous speed to get all the way around in one day. Now they just anyway, how do we? I was just thinking about the great, like the masses. How they can alter things in history, and what examples can I think of in this country? Maybe not worldwide, but certainly this country. I can think of something called the community charge. Do you remember that? It was lovingly called by people who hated it, like me, the poll tax. Because if you didn't pay it, you couldn't vote. So you were actually, it was a blackmail, really. Now, when I first got married, a long time ago now, wow, it is. We bought a house in a terrace in a mining village. Just say village. It's not like the village where I grew up. It wasn't that far away from where I grew up, 15 miles maybe. But it was a mining village, and all the houses that were built there, most of them, were all there to serve the pit. And they were built around the middle of the 19th century, sometime around there. And they were all like 9-inch no cavity walls, so they were damp. They're in a pretty bad state. It's still there now. It's still people living in it now, and I drive past very quickly. And it was quite depressing. I found it depressing because I knew that this bit of history, of course, is real, where the community was based on the work that it had to do. Even the shops were owned by the the mine owners. So they gave the money for the labour, and then they took it back for the things you had to buy to live, plus the rent on the cottages and on the terraced houses. So they had it sewn up, and nothing much has changed. The mines have gone, but they've still got it sewn up. So we let me think now. I think it was still council tax when we first bought it, but it came in immediately after we had bought it. When I say immediately, a few weeks. And we were presented, me and my wife were presented with this bill for 400 and I think it was £450 each. No, it was just under £900 each. So it was £449 or something for the privilege of living in that place for a year. Well, I never paid it, and neither did my wife until later on when they caught up with her. But she very bravely said that she didn't know where I was. Thank you for that. Anyway, the cottage was sorry, I keep calling it cottage. The house we bought was I think it was 24,000. It seems like a snip, doesn't it? But I think that was overpriced. But it was 24,000, so we had to pay £1,000, more or less. If it had continued, it wouldn't have been long before it was £1,000 to live there every year, and just so 20 years later would have. Anyway, you get what I'm, you know what I'm getting at. Well, so we sold that place without having paid our council tax, and somehow we escaped, and then we moved to Sandy in Orkney. Very good move. However, of course, Scotland had the poll tax a year or so before the rest of Britain, so they were already up in arms about it, and really they were challenging. And this was great to me. They were challenging the very rights of the people who make our laws. They were challenging the authority, which is a great thing to do. And because of this, they reduced everybody's council tax by, I think it was £240. So this was the year that we first moved there. So we moved in the April, because that's what you do on a farm. You always move in the spring. It was a farm we got. So it was only 30 acres, but fantastic. It was, anyway. So we got there. We got these bills, and the council tax up there was quite a lot less than where we'd been, and it was, let me think now, £242, I think it was, £242 each. So when the subsidy or whatever they call it a subsidy or something that the government was going to pay each person um, to reduce the poll tax bill, so we ended up having to pay £2 each. Well, that suited me very well. So I paid that. But, I didn't want the hassle. But they did send me a bill from the previous address up to the new address. And I said they were very welcome to come up and take what they could to the value of what I owed them. And they would have had a job to find anything to that value. And I wrote a very nice letter in a big wax crayon, in different colours as well. I think I had quite a number of wax crayons in big letters with small case and capitals, to appear like I was insane. And it seemed to have worked. You think I'm still insane? So you can. Well, I'm not saying I'm very proud, actually, of not paying the council tax. Very proud of that, and I'm very proud of my wife for not dobbing me in. And I think if she knew what I was up to now, we've long since divorced, but I think if she knew what I was up to, she would understand what I'm doing. Because she was a very practical, thinking person of intelligence when it came to these kind of matters. She would know that when she thought about it, water doesn't cling to a spinning ball. That is, it's ridiculous. So what I'm trying to get across here is there is hope. Well, of course there's hope. This thing is moving very quickly. I think now it's gaining momentum. We are. I'm not saying we're on the home straight, but we're. If it's a marathon, I think we've probably got through that wall. I've never run a marathon. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but there supposedly is a wall that you get to, and you think you can't carry on any further. I think we've got past that because the walls come crashing down and the dust cloud is behind us, and we're gunning for them. The Elon Musk nonsense of the sports guy in space. If you believe that, then you may believe in God, or you may believe in the devil, or you may believe in little green men from outer space. And they're all total horseshit. What more can I say about that? I'll just fill you in on I know it's boring for many people, but it's for me this. Today is the 19th of February. The weather has just been really, really not good for me for what I'm doing, the digging. It's very wet. It's been raining most of the day. It's kind of stopped now, but it's very damp. I'm going to go out and do something because I've been trapped in this shed all day. And if I go out and get wet, I can't really dry clothes and things until the night time when I can light my fire. So I don't tend to get wet. I think it's a bit of a nonsense, really. So people can make a difference. That's the message here. People who know the Earth's flat, who've come to that realization that we've been sold a total stinker, treat it like the poll tax. Demand that we we get to realize the reality that we're living in, and this is all total nonsense.